Hello everyone, this is Daniel, and basically we're all under Jesus' authority, no matter what. If you really rebel against Jesus' authority, well, you're proving that you love this earth more, and you're loving yourself more than Jesus. And that is really condemnable by punishment of hell, because we love the things that are dirty and bad, and we love the things that are falling apart and turning to dust by God. Not that God is a really bad person. It's just basically God wants better for us because in His kingdom, in Jesus' kingdom, there's much paradise and no weeping and no tears. There's happiness and joy. There's love. There's nothing bad in heaven. So basically, if you're wondering why are we on this earth that is really not so good, well, there's suffering on earth, isn't there? There's deserts on earth. You know, there really isn't barren places on earth, in heaven. There's really full. There's place filled with life in heaven. There's many. There's a whole bunch of places that are filled with life. Even in the high mountains, even in places filled with water, there's always life in heaven. Now, on earth, even in the most holy places, there's barren, lifeless places. Next to Jerusalem, there's the Dead Sea, which is, well, getting a little bit of life now, but the Dead Sea used to be a whole place filled with death, and all you could see was death and nothing that would live in that Dead Sea. And obviously, it didn't used to be that way because of people's sin and how this earth was filled with sin. This is what we must deal with because lifelessness is because of sin. Sin is the reason for our suffering. Sin causes us to suffer. But why do we sin? Why did God choose us to be in a place filled with sin? Honestly, I think He just wanted us to be in paradise, but He didn't want us automatically following His will. So He gave Adam and Eve a Garden of Eden to them. There's a choice right there. There was a choice of Adam and Eve to eat of the fruit of life or the fruit of knowledge of good and evil. And they chose the knowledge of good and evil, which was death. There's life and death. So since they chose the fruit that would surely kill them, well, they chose because Satan tricked them into eating it, but they're the ones that tricked themselves into eating it. They chose to eat it. Satan did not choose for them to eat it, but they also blame Satan for eating it, but they should have blamed themselves. But honestly, why I live on Earth is not because of Adam and Eve. Not really because of them. It's really because of their choice. And it's our choice to live on Earth. It's our choice to live in heaven. It's our choice to live in hell. Earth is corruptible. It's a place that will turn into dust. So what must be learned? What must we learn from it? Well, basically, God has all authority. We might choose not to obey His authority, since we can easily tell by the rights and the clashes of war of citizenship against the government in almost every various place except for some various places. There's a lot of rioting and protests And people that are rebelling against the government and rebelling against all authority in almost every place that we know of. And that's happening more and more today. It happened a lot in the 70s in America, but it's happening all around us now. Think about it. There shall be a rebellion, a great rebellion, before God's kingdom comes. And basically, we chose all this. We chose all the things that did not help us. But still, it's Jesus' choice to make the earth that is not perfect, but perfect in shape, and that is not whole, but is complete in its doing. There's no undoing in God. It is us that can have undoing. Anyway, who are we to judge if we ourselves have the freedom to condemn ourselves by being rebellious? Since God gave us freedom, we have the freedom to come to Him, since He is perfect and loving, since He died on the cross, and His cross is beyond horrible, beyond what we can recognize in movies, where we can come to Satan, which by our choice, some of us don't even recognize it. By our choice, we just bear the shame of Christ, and worse yet, we have to do it forever, not for 3 days. Since Christ died on the cross for us, He's the one with authority. He created all the heavens and the earth. He worked strenuously hard for us, and He has all authority over all humanity. And since he worked so hard for us, and since He created everything from the foundations of the heavens and the foundations of the earth and foundations of all that there is to know about the foundations, we got to know, guys, we still don't have everything. Because God created the foundations of heaven. And greater yet, He has all authority to do so. Since He created life, we should be happy for that. He is a peace giver. He is a loving God. Satan is not. Jesus is Lord. And He does everything in complete order. He is king over all. He is a powerful, most awesome God that there ever is. He knows. He knows everything. And also, He wants you in His kingdom. He wants you to just come in His presence. His presence is love, joy, and peace. And even more stuff like gentleness and patience. Against these things there is no law. But a fulfilling perfect justice and fulfilling awesome joy that will set you free. Just remember, guys, Jesus is supreme authority over all. And even if we choose not to be with him, we still have his choice. We have a choice no matter what, especially from birth. God gave us all the choices we got in the book. He gave us every choice that is possible. And yet, just to know, God hopes that we can see who he really is. He cares deeply for us. Also, since he is most powerful, supreme authority, rules all over us, he can still be gentle over us. As top authority, as Alpha and Omega, most high supreme ruler, as bright as day, as beautiful as night. He just, you know, he's like the curtain of stars in the universe, beautiful beyond recognition. And also, it's just complete awesomeness in heaven. There's so much awesomeness in heaven. If you see heaven, I know you won't see it in when you're dead and come back, but once you see heaven, you'll just realize, wow, this place is huge. No wonder no one can imagine it, because the greatest building in heaven is just like a grain of sand, just like, I don't know, like if you imagine these crystal rocks and you see the littlest detail, the littlest grain of rock inside of a core. Imagine that white rock with a little bit of grain. Like imagine these ores, these crystal ores, and look at the inside of the crystals. Imagine the littlest ones, but then turn that into a mountain and make that mountain colorful, like rainbows of color. Make it blue, green, and shiny. And make these little crystals like powdered sugar. Like powdered sugar. Those are the greatest buildings you can ever imagine. That's heaven for you. And like powdered sugar in the green parts, there are these glorious gardens. Like powdered sugar. This mountain has such a shocking, awesome look to it. Like awesome and powerful. And on top is where God rules. And he has such awesome power and such awesome size to his palace. It's like, yeah, and yet, it's like powdered sugar. Like a mountain of powdered sugar. Not saying to mock it, but basically saying it to give you an incentive to look at how great heaven really is. And God's power to create such an enormous city, and his power to create such an enormous universe that's unimaginably big, and to create the earth just like a molecule of a cell. It's like a cell within a cell, within the body. That's the earth within the universe. And God created all that. That's his awesome power. We're not going to be able to tell how awesome God's power really is. For his power is just truly awesome. I hope you know that God is just awesome. And we must bow down to him all the time. Let him talk to us. And let's talk to him little. Because he is that awesome. Alright, I'll be done now, okay? Bye.